Welcome back to GraysMatter podcast, the podcast where we talk about things and stuff. We have our co-hosts today, Erin and Jen. How
Hello,
are you two doing?
I'm Erin. I'm doing great.
I'm Jen.
All
I'm
right.
doing okay. Which is my standard answer. I know everybody's always like, just okay. It's like, yep. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I get that.
It's so often the truth.
I actually had somebody once at one of my previous jobs that decided they didn't want me to help them because I said okay when they asked how I was, and he's like, "Oh, you're not doing fantastic."
I had
He's
one
like-
of I had a former coworker at one point kind of talking about like asking me how I was doing was always a downer type of thing, and it's like I have chronic problems. You can just get over yourself.
Yeah.
Persons whose name isn't Karen, but who's
Who is a Karen?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would be happy to call all Karens Jills, is what I'm saying. Which I know is unfair to a lot of people named Jill, but
Not any of the ones that I know. A little bit. But yeah, I just, if you don't want an answer to the question, then don't ask.
yeah, learn that your coworker who, like, honestly. Now that being said, like social situations where it's like who you say, oh, I'm doing good, and oh God, and I remember like distinctly at one point while I was at work checking in with people, talking to somebody, saying, yeah, I'm doing good, and then turning around and like 2 seconds later, because of somebody else who asked me, I was like, I'm in so much pain right now. And it just stuck in my brain because it was really funny to me how short of a time I went from I'm doing great, person who I only have a basic acquaintance work knowledge of, and a work friend.
Yeah.
I am doing terrible.
No, yeah, I get that. The person whom I speak to the most at work also has chronic pain. And, if I do the how are you doing thing, I ask, how is today relatively?
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to do it.
Yeah, because we're both usually in pain. Their pain is more constant than mine, and I feel terrible for them for that, and I wish I could do something.
Oh God, my sib, one of their roommates, is exhibiting signs of migraine.
Oh.
And so they have been talking to me about it, and I was talking to them, and it sounds like they may have gotten themselves into like a you know how if you overtake medication, even if you are not like exceeding the amount it tells you to take on the bottle, like you can end up having
Liver damage?
no reaction headaches.
Oh, yes.
So you're talking to me about, okay, these are the symptoms, this is what's been going on, and it's been going on for this. They actually said to me, it's like, actually this episode seems to have been going on for like a month or months, which kind of makes me feel like it's not migraines. And I was like, you poor innocent person, you're only making it sound more like migraines the longer it's going on. And then I remember they told me that this person was taking acetaminophen, and I was like, how often are they taking it? And they're like, I think like daily. And I was like, oh, then that's probably your problem. And then I was like, oh, wait, but you said they have a neurologist appointment coming up, right? And they're like, actually, that got pushed back a month. And I was like, oh, God. And my thing there was just like, I don't even know the right kind of advice to give, because I was like, okay, so first of all, I don't like giving medical advice, but maybe try not using getting off of the acetaminophen. And then I immediately followed it by saying, like, I don't even feel good about that piece of advice, because when I had that problem, it was my neurologist who found it, and she was able to prescribe me medication to break the headache cycle. And so I just, I was doing advice, and I'm sitting here and it's like, I feel so terrible for this person because I know how they feel right now, and I can do nothing, absolutely nothing to make them feel better.
Oh, yeah.
For like a month.
I am fortunate. I feel fortunate that I've not had anything go on for a whole month. The longest for me was 3 days. And that was one of the mild ones, fortunately.
Oh, goodness. Mine aren't short.
The severe ones, the someone needs to take me to urgent care ones, are usually only several hours. But they also inject stuff into my arms, and I sleep for a while. And so I'm not really sure what else is going on, because I'm either in too much pain to remember, or I'm asleep, or I'm drugged up. But hey.
And of course, where I come in on the balance there of where I'm lucky, yes, mine go on for a while, but I've never had a migraine bad enough that I have had to go to urgent care or the emergency room. I have had ones that are, I'm going to take all my medication, throw an ice pack on my face, and just try and sleep it off. So that usually only pushes it back. But so I get long ones, but and they're very stubborn where like I won't be in pain, but it's like still there and it'll flare up. But the severity of the pain is usually something I can deal with. You win some, you lose some with chronic pain.
That is true.
I remember one day when I was in college, my dad came up to me. He's like, how do you live? Not that I don't think you should, but like, I've had a headache all day. My back hurts. And this is just what you do all the time.
Yep.
And I was like, well, you just have to learn to live with it. That's all there is to it. But just kind of the like coming in, and my parents have never tried to do like, oh, it's probably, it's not like until then my dad just brushed off how I felt, but it was kind of like a very, okay, I had a day of your pain level. How do you do this?
So, Jen, you were saying your dad has migraines.
Well, yeah, he used to. He doesn't get them anymore, but he did used to when he was younger. And then, like my pain levels with my joints and different things, I kind of tended to be like, oh, I'm probably not in as much pain as I think I am. But then I kind of started to realize that painkillers don't help at all. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm actually in more pain than I'm admitting. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I keep thinking I'm exaggerating it in my head, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm actually not.
Yeah. It's all relative, and it's so hard. It's like when I used to hear ads for like antidepressants when I was younger, when I was probably in middle school, and I was like, yeah, I feel like shit, but I'm probably exaggerating to think that I'm on that level. And it's like, oh no, actually, this is not quote unquote normal.
I know they had antidepressant ads, but I don't remember seeing any when I was in middle school or high school.
I heard them on the radio is the ones that I encountered.
The earliest ones I can remember is when I was in my 20s, and it was Zoloft. The ad was, there was this a ball that was shaped like an onion, and it walked around and was depressed.
Mm.
I'll find a link to the commercial and throw it into the show notes.
I am a depressed onion.
Yeah.
No, by the time I was in my 20s, I was fortunately treated. So essentially, I ended up having my mental health treatment because of the fact that it was actually, like, I was having tension headaches and going to the doctor because I was having debilitating headaches that I just couldn't deal with, which were not migraines, by the way. Migraines came later.
Mm-hmm.
And went to the doctor and did the depression test thingy and got oh, I see. have some antidepressants. And then
Yeah, that's how I ended up on anxiety meds and depression meds, but that was actually only like 4 years ago, so I was like 36 before I got on anything.
Yeah.
And because I kept being like, oh, well, I'm coping, it's fine. And then it's like it was getting to the point where it would take me like an hour to be able to leave the house because of the anxiety and stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, this is not coping anymore. This is affecting my life. And like I couldn't go places.
That was
New
after
places.
the physician I suggested to you, right?
Nope, this was before.
Okay.
Because the physician that you suggested I started seeing like a year ago, and she changed my meds because I was having a side effect with the old ones, but I was already on them. But she changed them to different ones
That was
work
only
better.
a year ago?
Well, a little over a year. It took me a while to get in for an appointment. It took me like a month to get in for a checkup.
Well, she is
with
good.
The new doctor. Yeah, she's really good, but I think it was a little over a year. It was like June or July last year that I first saw her.
Okay.
So, but I got on the anxiety meds and the antidepressants when I was going in for an outpatient procedure because they did that questionnaire, and then the lady was like, "Are you sure you don't want to try to take something?" So I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll try it." But I'm glad that I did though, because I'm a lot better now than I was.
That's a much better way to get on it than I know somebody who 40s, and it was a suicide attempt that got them treated, but now they're treated and they're so wonderful to be around.
Yeah, medication is important.
It's good when you can figure out, when you can get the treatment before it becomes a hazard.
Yeah. And my thing, the big thing with me was the anxiety, and then the depression kind of came out more once I was getting treated for the anxiety, and then we did the antidepressant and stuff and kind of got it all sorted out. But for me, it was the major issue was the anxiety. Good times. But now I can leave the house. Well, now there's a pandemic, but, before that happened, I could leave the house without freaking out.
Yeah.
Now everybody freaks out when they leave the house.
Oh God, it's so hard having to deal with this with anxiety, and I still go into the office twice a week. So I'm only working from home part-time, and it's just this process to be able to leave the house now, and I'm like, oh God, I hate this so much.
Yeah. I work at a grocery store. I've been doing the whole time, and I was having burnout issues, and I was feeling exhausted all the time. And then I went and I took a 2-week vacation when Convergence was supposed to happen. And it was great. And I felt re-energized. And I was like, wow, I don't feel exhausted at all times now. And it took me like a week going back into work before I'm back at the, oh God. So that's fun.
Yep. I have definitely been there before.
It's just like
rapid burnout. We all need to work less.
Now I'm back to just being as depressed as I was before my vacation, which took an upsettingly low amount of time.
Yeah,
I think that's
they always
common.
do though. Yeah. It's like you take a week of vacation and it goes by in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
See, that
You're like, what happened?
That was the thing with the 2 weeks I took off, is by the end of it, I felt like I'd been on vacation. Like, I didn't feel like, oh no, it's over. I was like, you know what? I've decompressed. I'm feeling good. I'm going to go back into work. It's less stressful at work than it was early in the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if my body was just like me having the time off made my body say, wait, can we go back to that? We didn't know that was an option before.
Yeah, like, hold on. Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's not an option to just not work.
No, unfortunately, it's not. Yeah, with everything that's been going on this year, it's like I'm just kind of not motivated to do anything. I'm like, I just want to sit around and play video games all the time. It's like I need to also do chores and stuff. You know, it's been hard to get motivated.
I have
and then
really slipped there. And
yeah,
it's my husband in general has been pretty good about helping out, or not helping out, but doing a majority of the work, even though he is also working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's still different than working at a grocery store right now. My God, I am so done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, for being an industrialized country, we get far too few days off. Vacation days, sick days,
Yeah.
holiday days.
Yep.
It's really depressing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't checked, but I probably have burned through all my PTO.
Yeah. I still have a little bit left. It's like I'm trying to spread it out some.
I need to double check mine. I think I have 3 days left. Maybe. The pandemic threw everything off because...
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, but like I had to burn... I burned through a bit of mine at the beginning because I wasn't going to go into the office until they could let me work from home.
Oh, right. Yeah,
And
I
then
remember that.
It was also allergy season for me, so I was showing some symptoms, and I didn't have it. You know, I got tested, didn't have it, but...
PTO for that.
I'm sorry, what?
That's so dumb. You had to use PTO for, I'm not going to put my health at risk for an office job that I could do from home.
Or other people's health.
But then I think I got it back because at my last review, I had a lot more PTO than I expected. And then I also canceled both conventions I took off time for. And now I have dentist appointments coming up. So I'm like, all right, all of my calculations are way off because I forgot to write down what all I took off.
I still have slightly over half an hour of PTO available. Have not burned through all of it, but like, and like I can't even try and reduce my hours or anything because I'm at the bottom of what we can be as full time.
Oh my.
Which I fortunately work at a company that considers 30 to 40 hours full time. So I work I'm scheduled like 32 hours a week.
I'm glad Hollywood Video doesn't exist anymore so I can drag them through the mud. When I worked there, full time wasn't 40 hours a week. Full time was 44 hours a week.
Is that legal?
I don't know. And I didn't question it because I was 18 at the time.
Yeah.
The pay was shit, and when I got promoted to assistant manager, the pay didn't get any better. And so we were working over all the time, and they would try to cheat us out of paychecks on those months where we were supposed to get 3 paychecks because of, we're supposed to get paid on the... Every 2 weeks. But they also had it set for the 15th and 30th as the pay cycle. So they were using one thing for when paychecks would go out and another for the payroll system. And it didn't always line up. So then we'd have to go, hey, where's our pay? You owe us money. Give it to us.
That's bad.
Yeah.
At least 50% of wage theft in the form of having people work off hours or not is done by companies who know that their employees don't know enough of the legal minutia to know that they're being... Like I think Hank Green did a video and he was talking about when he worked at Walmart, he had somebody who essentially told him, well, we need you to do the full amount of work, but you can't go into overtime. And apparently Hank Green was like, I'm not working while not punched in, if that is what you are indicating. Because there are some people who think that companies can tell them to do that. You know, it'd be really great, less class to have in high school. Your rights, your basic rights as an employee.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, another thing that would be good is if they had that, what is it? What's the acronym for it? But the basic income thing.
Yeah.
UBI?
Because if people didn't have to work, they wouldn't put up with any of this stuff, and the companies would actually have to treat people well in order to keep employees.
Yeah, universal basic income would be a lovely thing.
Yes, we need that.
Well, I just want to say that for talking about my stressful position at work, I do want to say that where I work is a very good workplace. I feel like they are doing what they can in the pandemic. I actually, day before yesterday, we had somebody who was coming in and working through the fact that he was kind of not doing so great, and like when he was leaving, because he left early, and we were like, don't worry about it. Take care of yourself. This is not a workplace that is going to fire you because you had to take 3 days off because, you were dealing with an injury type thing. And that's one of the things that I feel depressed every time I have to tell. Because I'm a manager on duty, so I deal with this sometimes, but every time I'm telling somebody where it's like I know the general background and I'm like, you're not going to get in trouble for this here. We're not going to you're not going to, be told, oh, you missed too many days, you should have tried working. take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that, and the other one is you don't actually have to put up with customers like verbally abusing you. You don't have to put up with customers making uncomfortable comments or a lot of these other things that I think people just assume they have to deal with in retail. That, like, we have a customer who is one comment away from being permanently banned, and that has partially been we will hear about things that she said, and because whenever she comes into the store, employees start gossiping because everybody knows her on site. And every time I come into one of those groups, I'm like, okay, everyone, you actually have to tell us what she says that makes you uncomfortable when it happens, and then we will talk to her. You don't have to put up with this. We don't want our employees being verbally abused by customers. It's not acceptable in this workplace. Those are the two things that I get depressed about, how I have to tell that to employees.
Yeah, it's terrible that so many places have the customer is always right mentality. I do not miss having to put up with abusive customers and inappropriate touching and such.
Oh God, touching. Oh, no, yeah. Touchy.
Do not.
That is very much not allowed.
No. It's like I've got my personal space and certain people can be in it, but customers are not amongst them. It's like, no. But yeah, when I first started working, I was like, oh, I have to put up with all this crap. But eventually I got over that. It's like, nope, I'm not putting up with that. No more.
You still have to deal with the customer is always right with the customer saying dumb shit. But we just don't have to deal with them actually being inappropriate.
Yeah.
We do have to deal with them being idiots and occasionally being like, okay, fine, this is on sale just like the other ones on the shelf. I have more important things to do than tell you that just because it's the same brand doesn't mean it's on sale.
Yeah, it's like nobody ever taught these people consent.
Well, I mean, we don't actually teach that as a, valuable skill in our culture. So
yeah, no, we need to teach. We need consent, and we need better sex education.
Yes,
that should involve something other than this is how you get pregnant and don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even also just talking about consent as a non-sexual issue, don't enter a person's personal space. Instead, we have a weird culture. You've got this thing that happens with friends and family. You can't see the air quotes, but they're air quotes. Where if you have a certain amount of emotional closeness to a person, then you do just violate their personal space. Thinking about tickling or poking or these things that it's friendly when you're like, oh no, stop. Got a weird romanticization about having an emotional closeness to a person, allowing you to ignore their boundaries. So gross, and I hate it.
Yeah, that helps foster a form of accepting predatory behaviors. Because you're not allowed to say no to a family member.
Yeah.
When they, give this relative a hug. Well, I don't want to. Well, you have to. It makes it easier to be compromised into thinking you have to let others into your space. And it makes it easier to be coerced as you get older because it's been so normalized.
It can make it hard to make people take you seriously about it.
Totally.
When you're just like, no, really, don't touch me. I don't care how good friends we are, so it's just okay for us to play around. Don't touch me. And if we could, that's the simple way, because sometimes when you have conversations about we should teach consent and talking about even, to kids, and people are like, oh, it's inappropriate, it's sexual. And it's like, no, just teach kids that they can only hug people who have okayed them to hug them. That's a thing small children will try and do. It's very easy to teach that lesson as, oh, no, she said she didn't want you to hug her. You don't get to hug her right now.
Yeah, consent can be revoked.
Yeah. Also, and we might have already covered this, I kind of dropped for a minute, so I missed part of the conversation, but, you shouldn't make your kids hug somebody if they don't want to either.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you should just early on just start with, you know, with that, like it's your decision instead of this, oh, just do it.
It is as the gateway to other abusive behavior or other abusive acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Just let kids say no. That's the new movement. Just let kids say no.
Just let kids say no.
Everybody say no. Just say no all the time.
Yeah. Hey kids, just accept no. Yeah, that's the new slogan. Nothing to do with drugs, but just accept no. Somebody says no, then just accept no.
Yep. If they say no to drugs, also accept that no.
Oh yeah. And if someone is on drugs or another substance, be aware that they can't really give consent while under that influence.
So not necessarily just say no to drugs, but just say no if they're on drugs at that exact second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the two of you have previously, because that's the other.
Exactly.
Like I've heard of people who've been like, no, like my partner has talked to me about the fact that they do like to get drunk and have sex. So you have prior consent when not inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
So just say no if they're on drugs, if they haven't given you prior consent. I think I figured out why we're not allowed to make schools that they put in school. No. I'm going to try that sentence again. I think I figured out why we're not allowed to make slogans that they put in schools, because these are getting long.
Well, unfortunately, it's a complicated issue apparently, but you know, the whole thing is like if it's not enthusiastic consent, then it's a no. You know, which would be the shortest way to put it probably, but apparently that's difficult for some people.
It's not enthusiastic, informed consent.
Mm-hmm.
And
where everybody's clear-headed. Yep.
Yes.
When I was on jury duty, I did accidentally imply that one of the jury members might be committing acts of rape, because he said, am I raping my wife when we're both drunk and have sex? And I didn't have the time to get into the details of, well, that depends on how and when consent's given and your basic understanding of, you know, what is expected from each other and if you have agreements in place with each other. So, yeah, that was a fun jury experience, getting into it with other jurors.
I'm assuming that was being used as a equivalence for something that happened in the case.
Yes, it was.
Ooh.
Was it a white dude?
Yes, it was.
How did I guess?
Well, the case, everyone involved in the case was white. So the defendant, the attorneys, the
prosecutors?
The prosecutor's not the word I'm looking
Judge.
for. Well, I mean the prosecutors and the judge and all that. But like the person, the accused and the defendant, those are the words I'm looking for. We're also white. So the jury of the 12 of us, only 3 of us were persons of color. And I didn't actually have a problem with that because,
that's a higher amount than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
There's a big problem with that I found out about recently.
About juries and people of color being systematically shut out?
Yeah.
The Last Week Tonight episode, thinking about that?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. What pissed me off about the outcome of the trial was that the only 2 people who agreed with me was the silent guy who didn't have anything to add, and the deep state conspiracy theorist.
Oh, that's very upsetting.
That was so upsetting. I was so angry. I am still angry to this day, and it's been, I don't know, 8 months. So, yeah, on the greater charge, we found him not guilty due to the way the law is written. On the lesser charge, hung jury, because we could not come to agreement, and so yeah. But my point is that intoxication requires
unintoxicated prior consent.
Yes. But still, consent can be revoked even when intoxicated.
Oh, yes.
And if you ask me if you might be a rapist, I am going to say you probably are if you have to ask me that.
Yeah, if you have to ask, yes.
Yes.
Also, even giving you the best benefit of the doubt, if you're trying to compare something that is a court case, that is one person is coming forward and saying, no, this was not okay, and they're like, well, if my wife and I did it, it would be fine. It's like, has your wife ever tried to get you up in front of a court for rape?
Yeah.
If yes, then you probably were raping her.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that content warning has to be there anyway, so.
Yeah, it does.
There's no point leaving any of it out.
Is there anything else that we need to add in that's going to need a content warning? Have we missed anything?
Well, I might as well point out then that, when people, like with, people talk about fight or flight, and this came up also in the court case, but this comes up with, people violating consent. It is not just fight or flight. It's fight, flight, freeze, befriend, fecund.
I do not know what the last one is.
Fecund?
Yeah.
Have sex with.
I mean, that's how bonobos do it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's more of 5 Fs if you consider befriend an F.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that people react to things, and people try to say somebody didn't fight, therefore it was consent, and that's not true,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, I don't know how many times I've heard, like, women's stories where they're like, well, I didn't want him to, like, kill me, so I went along with it, and it's like, well, that's not consent.
No, that is like the opposite of enthusiastic consent. That is very, very unenthusiastic consent.
Yeah, it's like if it's coerced, if it's, anything like that still counts as rape. That's not consent, But people will look at, but people will look, look at, like, oh, if there's video of an assault or something, and like, well, she looked like she was into it, or whomever, and it's like, well, that doesn't always, like, was she drunk? Was she on drugs? Was she just going along with it because she was worried for her safety? Like,
that's
it's not
one of the 5 Fs.
Black and white like that. Yeah.
Bullied, which I know is the same as coerced, but like, I feel like that sometimes can paint a better picture. Coerced sounds a lot like, I don't know, sounds like more planned and more sophisticated than bullied, which is a lot of times what it can be.
Yeah, that's true.
Was she just bullied and then told afterwards that the orgasm meant that, obviously it was fine?
All those senators who don't know how bodies work.
Oh, God. This is why
Yeah.
we need better sex education. I'm
yes,
sorry.
it is. Yes, it is.
Well, it's also why we need less old white dudes in politics.
There is that too. This is true.
But like the one, wasn't there one, and I can't remember what his name was, but he was like, oh, well, obviously if it was rape, then the body would reject
Has
a
a way of
pregnancy, and
shutting
it's like,
that
are
all
you,
down.
Yeah.
Yep.
huh?
The actual quote, I believe, was that the female body has a way of just shutting that down, which I
Yeah.
think he claimed was from a doctor. To which this got the protesting slogan talking about, you know, women voters have the ability to, you know, just shut that thing down. Specifically talking about him. I can't remember if he got reelected. I also don't remember the guy's name. It was just one of just many terror. Because here's the thing. In a lot of cases, it's not necessarily because they believe that. It's because, you know, they're trying to use their power and privilege to shut that down. And,
Exactly.
you know, want abortions to be illegal. So, are willing to say whatever dumb shit.
And now we have Joe, the rapist Biden, as the Democratic nominee for president.
Who we really need to win.
Who we really need to win. I'm voting for him, but I'm going to complain the whole way.
Yep.
So, yeah. On the one side, we have the rapist and the cop. Or, no, I have to say alleged, because none of it's gone to, like, trial, has it?
No.
All right. So, allegedly, hashtag allegedly, please don't sue. I don't have any pants. So on the one side, the alleged rapist and the cop, versus on the other side, the rapist and the Christian fundamentalist who is openly trying to kill us all.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not the 2020 I wanted.
No, this is like some Marty McFly did some shit and fucked up the timeline 2020.
No, this is the darkest timeline.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
They rolled the die and it exploded, and here we are. That's a Community reference, by the way.
Oh, I saw those clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best timeline the one where what's his name grabbed the die out of the air and made a choice?
That is so that was the eventual timeline. So what happened is the premise of the episode involved the fact that there were like 7 of them at a housewarming apartment party thing. And then pizza got there, and Jeff, who's always the guy who's trying to pull some shit, says, okay, I'm going to roll this die, and, you know, whichever number it is, they have to go down and get the pizza. And the character who knows a whole lot about how television shows work and is slightly fourth wall present was like, you realize this is going to create 6 different timelines, right? And so then you go through all the timelines, and the darkest timeline is the one that you've probably at least seen GIFed, which is the guy coming up with the pizza and the apartment is on fire.
Donald Glover.
Yes. Who is great.
Yes.
But yes, the one that the person grabbed the die out of the air was the person who was like, this is a 6-sided die, Jeff, and you've made it so that your person's 7. You have to go get the pizza.
Yeah.
And that was the normal timeline. So this is what I'm saying is the die exploded, so it was actually worse than the darkest timeline there, because that was only one apartment on fire, not, you know, the entire state of California and Australia, and probably bits of Canada at this point, and that's only literally on fire.
Washington and Oregon are also on fire.
Yeah.
But it's a boy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I did not actually know the gender assigned by those pyrotechnics.
I actually don't either, so maybe it was a girl. I don't know. I just see memes all over the place, and they say it's a boy, it's a girl, and then there's explosions.
I have to double check the news report, but I think that they announced it was a boy in the articles.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Because that's we were
add it to the show notes.
We were talking about, if the whole state was on fire and the kid grows up to be like a cis white dude, then it's an oddly appropriate gender reveal. It's like everything's on fire. Yep, it's a straight white dude.
Exactly. I was about to say, especially if it's a guy, it's like, well, it was obviously worth setting the state on fire. I am that sorry. It is worth setting the state on fire. I am that important.
Yeah. It's not the first time. So, let me try that sentence again. It is not the first time a state's been set on fire for a gender reveal party. There was also the guy who has been shot, and there was the plane that crashed.
Yeah.
This is well out of hand. Yeah, last year...
the mommy blogger who started this trend has come out vehemently against it for a while now.
Well, it's such a stupid idea. It's like, why?
Just go back to having baby showers.
Just don't have baby showers either. Those things suck.
Yeah. I feel like, and I can't say this for sure because I'm just some of it was a cute gimmicky idea, and having been to a baby shower, we're really weird about babies. As a culture, we're really weird about babies. And overly concerned with their genitalia.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Parties, like, it's a girl, it's a like it in baby showers and these other things. It often has kind of this like, we have learned the most important fact about this baby, and that is its genitals.
Not to mention, it's like, why? Like somebody was mentioning, it's like, well, so that they have to find the right toys to, force the kid into the correct gender role.
Right.
I'm like, okay, yeah.
My parents got clothing hand-me-downs, given that they were two broke college students having a kid. So I wore lots of blue as a baby. My parents also did not raise us with any kind of gender roles.
Yeah, my toys, I had like trucks and horses, model horses.
Nice.
So, yeah, I didn't really have like girl toys, stereotypical girl toys. I mean, toys and everything being gendered is just stupid, but
Yeah, it's real dumb. But I think also, I'm wondering if the prevalence of the gender reveal party, like the reason that took off as a trend, is because we have been seeing progress in trans rights.
Oh, totally.
Like, we've been seeing legitimate progress there, and it's kind of a pushback to no. Pink or blue blanket matters.
Well, how about I get a yellow blanket then?
Or green. Green's a nice color.
Yeah, I'd probably actually get them green.
Yeah.
Or purple.
Ooh,
Purple. Purple is my favorite color. That's really not impactful to the conversation at all, but I just had to put that out there.
It is one of my favorite colors as well. I am a big fan of purple.
Yeah. And then I hated pink forever because, pink's like the girly color or whatever. And it's like, now I like some shades of pink, now that I don't care anymore because my last fuck has left the building.
Yeah.
I
actually talked about that. Sorry, continue.
Oh, no, I was done. I was just saying, once I kind of got over the idea that, pink is for girls and it's girl, it's like, now I like it, okay?
Yeah. No, I had a similar, and I actually was talking to my father-in-law about it, and he missed a jump there. Like when I was younger, I really was kind of a girly girl. Like I had dolls and stuff. Not because my parents felt that those are the toys I should have, because definitely neither of us got toys based on. It was just what we wanted to have. So I really liked pink as a girl when I was younger. And when I was in high school, I was vehemently anti-pink. And then I've come back around and I like pink and I have lots of pink things. And I remember talking to my father-in-law about it. And he was like, well, okay, so I got it, liked it because of social norms, rejected it because of rejecting those social norms. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't see the comeback. And it's like, yeah, that's because I stopped. Both of those are me letting society tell me whether or not I should like pink. They're both me basing my opinion of a color on societal expectations. Instead of now, where I've really come around on pink. I actually have a lot of pink things now.
Mm-hmm.
My hair is often pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is purple once in a while. I haven't done pink yet.
Yeah, mine is rose gold. I really like it because it looks. If you didn't know that pink is not a natural color, it looks natural.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Of course, I have to redo it. It's faded. The problem with it looking natural is it doesn't stand out, and therefore it fades relatively quickly. But
yeah. But yeah, I know. And then when I was younger too, it's kind of that whole thing where you go, or I did anyways, going through that phase where you're like, I'm different and I'm not really like other girls or whatever, because you hear so often being female is treated as a negative so often,
You're like, oh, you're not like other girls. You're a interesting person. Go fuck.
Yeah, and then it's now I've got a whole bunch of, female friends that are just like me, or not exactly, but, similar to me. I'm like, oh, it turns out I am like other girls, I guess. It's just people don't understand that women are actual people.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're a three-dimensional person. You're not like the other girls.
Yep. With actual interests, and not all of them are about cooking and babies.
And fashion.
And hair. I keep cutting all my hair off. I'm like, I hate it. Get it away.
I don't
And
blame
my
you.
mom yells at me.
Hair is heavy.
Well, and it's annoying, and it's I don't want to deal with it.
It gets in the way. It's hot in the summer.
My hair.
I mean, I like mine, but, this is my head.
Yeah, I have fun with my hair.
Yeah, I never want to style it. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, once this pandemic is over, I'm going to get my locks retwisted.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut all my hair off again. Yeah, I had it long for a long time, but it's really fine, and it likes to lay flat and stuff, and I don't really ever style it or anything, so it's just get rid of it. So, that is what I did.
I have the apparently it's a millennial trend. I've got the half buzz. So, half of my hair I get rid of and remove entirely when I have the spoons to do so. Then the other half I'm growing out and I get to play with and I have fun.
Yeah, mine's kind of now everything's weird, but it's kind of an asymmetrical, because that's what I did last, was the right side always dries weird, so I'm like, let's just cut off this side and leave the other side longer. So that's what mine was. So, but the long side isn't super long.
I've been growing out the long side for quite a while now, so it's getting back to being, because my hair, I didn't cut it for years and years and years. And when I was in high school, or when I was in college, I decided to do a shortcut. And from there, I decided to go for the half buzz after I got the current job I have, because I did not want to have weird hair while I was searching for a job. But then I got a job at a co-op, and I was like, oh, this will be fine. And then removed half of my hair. And since then,
Yep.
have been growing the other side out.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my mom hates this haircut. I'm like, that's not encouragement for me to change it, right?
It's not your hair.
Mm-hmm.
It frustrates me so much. Like, even like with kids, when parents like tell their small children like what you are and are not allowed to do with your hair, and it's just like, going into the quote unquote real world, you don't get to have fun haircuts and styles while you're looking for a job, and you may not be able to in a job. That's what childhood is for. Let them dye their hair all the colors.
Yeah.
This was my parents' philosophy, and it worked great.
That is the perfect time to do it.
And it's just hair. It's not like it can't be fixed eventually,
Like, very worst thing, you have to take it all off.
Yeah.
Oh, so troubling. It'll grow back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, right around college, so like post high school and stuff was when I first like cut all mine off. And I had like a really short pixie cut for a while. And then it's like my ex whined about long hair all the time, and I end up growing it back out. And then I'm like, that was a mistake. But yeah, the last time my mom saw me, she's like, what happened to your hair? Like, quarantine. So, but
that X
yeah.
needs to be shoved into a Saturn V and launched to space.
Yes. Space.
Space.
Mm-hmm.
Space.
But,
yeah. When I was growing up, I didn't know I could have different hairstyles. All the ones that I really saw for hair like mine was pretty much... wow, I don't actually even know the names for it. I just pointed at that number 3 at the barber. Kind of a fade, but not quite. And just had it at that. I didn't get locks in my hair until I was... Oh, wow. In my 20s? Late 20s?
Wow.
Yeah. I had tried a couple of times, let my hair grow out into a fro, and then was going to get it locked. But then, a wedding was coming up, and I was asked to cut my hair. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it for the wedding.
Right.
My mom was super concerned. She thought that I was depressed because I was, suddenly changing my style, even though I'd been talking about it for months upon months, and it was a big plan. And then something else was coming up, and I forgot what. I think I was getting a new job, and they required short hair.
Mm.
And then eventually I was able to just go and do it. It's like, yes, I got the locks I wanted. But I really just didn't even think about it until I was in my late 20s. Everyone around me with hair like mine just kept it short. Or everyone who was assigned male at birth with hair like mine just had it short and neat.
Yeah. I am lucky to have white girl hair. Like, takes no maintenance. None. I wash it when I take a shower, and it looks fabulous.
Yeah, mine if it's long, it gets really flat, but keeping it short is I just have to wash it and then I can ignore it. So which is about my level of commitment, so that works well.
My hair takes forever to dry.
Yeah, I would imagine. It's very thick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When I was in middle school, white kids would try to stick stuff in my hair to see if it would stick.
That's
You.
both in no way surprising and also gross.
Yeah.
Yes.
So worse that I actually, when I was in middle school at one point, was being made fun of for having my hair orange, and then turned around and screamed at the kids that I didn't dye it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest thing in school was because I'm like a hobbit, and so people would make fun of me for being short all the time, and then finally I was like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? Like, I can't douse myself a miracle grow and get taller here, so this is a stupid thing to bug me about.
Yeah. You know,
So
I got turned down for a date once because I was too short.
yeah, I think you told me about that.
Oh,
The person
goodness.
who turned me down was 4'11".
That's
Wow.
so. Having been a short person who dated someone who was very tall, so there was a height difference. It's the sort of thing that people say, and they're like, "Oh, that's cute," and you're like, "Okay," but like also, kissing is strategic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you would intentionally like at 4'11". At that point, you're like, I can date even short guys, and it's not a thing.
hmm
And I've
Yeah, I've never worried about guys' height or anybody's height because literally everyone is taller than I am.
I've been
So
turned
when-
down for being too short by people my height and taller as well. But
Yeah.
being turned down for being too short by someone who's under 5 feet tall, that was just kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm familiar with like women not wanting to date men that are shorter than them, even though I think it's kind of dumb. But like
Mhm.
that I'm more used to than you are not sufficiently taller than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're,
the height thing to me, it's always like seems like kind of a superficial thing, especially considering how many terrible people are walking around on the planet. It's like really your deal breaker is somebody's height. Like,
okay. Once
really?
again, as somebody who has dated someone with a significant height difference, it is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand why you wouldn't want a significant height difference between yourself and your partner, but as soon as you go into people on either side of the equation in a I don't even want to say heteronormative relationship. A relationship that involves a person who is perceived as female and a person who is perceived as male, like people on either side of that who like want to keep the height balance correct is a little bit like just be okay dating someone who's a decent human being and worry about their height later.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Just have them get some heels or something.
When I was much younger, so I didn't start dating until I was 21. So around then, I was questioning, why is height an issue? And one of my friends explained to me, well, sometimes women like to wear heels. It's like, all right, so wear heels. Well, they want to have a partner who is, able to be as tall as them or taller while wearing heels. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
How does that stop you from wearing heels? And no one has had a good answer for me yet. Because, there's no good answer, but...
Yeah.
But...
Because on the boys are supposed to be taller, let's have a traditional looking relationship.
Yeah.
You have to be taller than they appear to be. While wearing heels.
Ever see a dating profile that says, I'm 6 feet tall, so you have to be taller than me. Good luck.
So, one of my girlfriends is extremely tall. I want to say she's 6'4".
Is it the one whom I'm thinking of?
It is almost certainly the one whom you're thinking of.
All right.
Side tangent. She's not easily forgotten and therefore was amazed when my sib did not remember who she was. Because she was like, I've never had that happen to me before. Because I'm a velociraptor.
Aren't velociraptors like only 5 feet tall, though?
Yeah, something like, look.
Yeah.
It's a term she's obviously been using for a while, so I don't want to,
Okay.
shiny it for her.
Good point.
Her nesting partner, she has a partner who is even taller than she is, which is exciting. And then she was like, yeah. And, they were doing a thing, and she was like, she put on heels and she was like, ha, I'm going to be taller than you. And then he was still taller. And so she was like, for one moment, disappointed because, you know, she was gonna have been taller. And then she's like, wow, he's actually tall enough that he's taller. This is amazing. We the tall ones.
Is he like 7 feet tall?
No.
Is he a treant?
I forgot how
He
tall
is
you
not.
said she was, so.
I want to say she's 6'4". I'm not 100% certain. I'm trying to remember how he's also tall. I don't believe you have met him, Justin.
Yeah, I probably haven't. I'm thinking of all the tall people whom I know, and they're not dating anybody who's tall or married to anybody who's tall.
Dating.
I do know a guy who is like 6'5", and he had a collapsed lung because he's too tall.
Yeah, she's got her height comes with some fairly serious health issues.
Yes. Human bodies are weird. Oh, you're too tall? Now you're at increased risk for collapsed lung.
I think that hers is the other way around. You have this health condition. One of the side effects is you tend to be pretty tall, but I could be wrong.
I just don't know how you can look at the human body and think that this is intelligent design.
Yeah.
Agreed.
God, I was actually talking about that earlier today. So you know how it's important, like, to get enough vitamin C because scurvy?
Yeah.
We are one of the few animals who cannot make our own vitamin C.
Huh. I did not know
Most
that.
animals can do that. Like, we can't. I can't remember. Either gerbils or hamsters. I want to say it's hamsters can't. So you have to make sure to give, like, vitamin C to your pet hamsters. But most animals can do it themselves.
I did not know that either.
Do either of you watch, there's a channel, It's Okay to Be Smart?
I do watch that. I think you
I
introduced
have
me
not.
to it.
There was one video that, this wasn't the title, and he never said this, but it was essentially like all the ways that evolution failed the human body. It was essentially a like laundry list of this is not intelligent design. And it was talking about things where, you know, oh, if you go to here, we can see what branch off lost us the ability to have vitamin C. I don't even remember if vitamin C was one of the things in that video. I know that I learned that on a SciShow episode, but he had one that was a very good, this is actually just an episode about a breakdown of how this definitely was not intelligently designed.
Did he mention anything about the human spine? Because literally, what the fuck with the human spine?
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is not a good design. What the hell were you doing?
I think the human spine is mentioned. I can't remember for sure.
Making a flagpole out of a clothesline.
I will find it and put it in the show notes.
Fantastic.
Assuming that I can find it.
Well, we've been recording for a little over an hour.
Oh yeah, we're at Erin's bedtime.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, it is time for Erin to take her meds and get ready to go to bed.
Alrighty then. Then
I will find this, I will send it to you, and then I will take my medicine and go to bed.
Beautiful. Then, any final words, friends?
If it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no.
Those are some good words.
I enthusiastically consent to guaranteed annual income.
Say that one more time, please, Erin.
I enthusiastically consent to guaranteed annual income.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody out there, have a wonderful night.
Good night.
Good night.